Okay, good evening. For those of you joining us, it is August 13th, 2026, and this is the beginning of our regular meeting of the Pacific Grove School Board. As we begin this meeting, it's important to pay respect to and acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the Ohlone, Costanoan, and Esselen people, and additionally pay respect to elders both past and present. This evening, I'm going to move on next and read the teleconferencing script because we have a trustee who is joining us remotely this evening. Trustee Wax is online video and audio. And so Trustee Wax is joining us today via teleconference from Fresno, California. As required by the Brown Act, this location has been agendized and is open and accessible to the public. Trustee Wax, please confirm that the agenda has been posted at your location and that you can hear the proceedings clearly.
Confirmed, and I can.
Thank you. Are any members of the public present at the remote location who wish to address the board at this time?
Oh, in Fresno?
This is the question.
Oh, no, they are not.
I know. For the record, thank you. For the record, all votes will be conducted by roll call to ensure closure on all issues arising from the meeting. Okay. Now, can we do our roll call, Dr. Adamson?
Absolutely, yes. President McNary.
Here.
Clerk Shamas.
Here.
Trustee Otmar.
Here.
And Trustee Wax.
Here.
Okay, thank you. With 3 trustees present in person and 1 online, we do have a quorum and can do our business. So thank you for being here, everyone. Item D on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. And before public comment, I'll look to you, Dr. Adamson. Any changes or updates?
No changes.
Thank you. Are there any public comments on the proposed adoption of the agenda as presented, either online or in person? Okay, thank you. I'll bring it back to the board for any discussion on agenda adoption. If not, happy to entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
A second. Thank you. Motion made by Clerk Shamas and a second from Trustee Otmar. Oh, we will need a roll call vote, Dr. Adamson.
President McNary.
Yes.
Clerk Shamas.
Here. Yes.
Trustee Otmar. And Trustee Wax.
Yes.
Thank you all. Motion carries. Okay. I will now identify the closed session topics for this evening. Item A is negotiations, collective bargaining session, planning and preparation with the CSEA for 2026 and 27. Item B is public employee discipline, dismissal, release, leave complaint under Government Code Section 54957. Are there any public comments on the closed session topics I've identified? Okay, seeing none, we will adjourn to closed session and return at approximately 6:30. Thank you, everyone. We are going to reconvene our regular board meeting in open session right now. The board was just meeting on confidential matters in closed session. So I am going to read a report out of what we did with regard to item A, negotiations, collective bargaining session, planning and preparation with the CSEA for 2026-27. Information was received and direction was given. And with regard to item B, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, leave complaint, we still have additional matters to take care of when we return to closed session after this. Welcome to everyone who is joining us for this portion of our meeting. Thank you, students and families, for being here. It's really exciting to see you all. We'll begin, as we always do, with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Dr. Adamson, will you please lead us?
Hands over your hearts, ready, begin.
Okay, with no further delay, let's get into the best part of the meeting. And that is this evening, we have a presentation from Robert Down Elementary. So Principal Ty Brownfield, thank you for being here. And you have the floor.
Thank you so much, everyone, for having us here this evening. Tonight, I would like to highlight some different community partnerships at Robert Down that really enhance the school experiences for our students. Specifically, I'll be highlighting the work within our garden, as well as an art mural project that we did with 2 local artists in the spring. First of all, I'd like to recognize our garden corner coordinator, Farmer Keith Larson, as well as our volunteer garden coordinator, Patricia Hamilton. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here this evening, but I have Farmer Keith here.
Well, my intent as the garden coordinator at Robert Down is simple. I'd like the students and staff to have some positive experiences and memories of their times in the garden. This happens in many ways, but along with providing some produce for the cafeteria and occasionally the rest of the school district, we have enough for local needs such as Al's Breakfast for the homeless and Pacific Grove Senior Center sometimes. Patricia and I are very grateful for being able to serve our community in this way at the Robert Down Garden. Thank you.
And I'm going to read to you a statement from Patricia Hamilton, our volunteer who also supports us with our garden. She says, "I'm sorry I can't be here in person. I want to say first that none of this began with me. Heidi Feldman and Keith Larson revived this beautiful garden that the children love. Heidi is missed by everyone." That is actually who Patricia is visiting right now. "I want to thank her for reviving the garden that Farmer Keith and I work in. I needed to find my own way to carry the flower beds forward, and the fairy garden drew me in. Working alongside Farmer Keith has been a joy. He grows amazing vegetables and is so good with the children. I tend the flowers and help with whatever I can, and together we are making something good at Robert Down. The honest truth is I love every minute. The plants, the flowers, designing the garden, every hour of it. I tucked fairy gardens and other playful scenes right among the growing plants and flowers to keep the children close to nature, which steadies and restores us all through our lives. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve in this way. Thank you." Next, I'd like to invite up Jackson Logan.
Hi, my name is Jackson Logan, and I'm in 2nd grade in Miss Alt's classroom. I like to spend time in the garden because it makes me happy. I like to play in the fairy garden and eat snap beans, tomatoes, and lettuce.
Hi, my name is sorry. Hi, my name is Gage. Being in our school garden makes me feel calm, and I love seeing the food we grow. My favorite part is the harvesting the lettuce and getting to enjoy it at lunch with everyone. I have some carrots from our garden to share with you.
And Parker Root is going to come up? No? Okay. And Gage helped to harvest those himself this afternoon with Farmer Keith.
Hi, my name is Julie. I'm in fourth grade and I'm new to Robert Down. I really enjoy my garden experience. I thought it was nice to have a garden in our school. We had lots of fun activities. Farmer Keith is nice to everyone, and I like how we got to pick real vegetables instead of just learning about them. Thank you. My name's Ximena. I moved to Robert Down from Mexico last year. Our school garden is so pretty and full of colorful flowers that make the whole space smell amazing. It's the perfect peaceful place to sit down and paint what we see. Having such a wonderful garden makes coming to school even more special. My name is Estelle and I'm in fourth grade. Our school garden is a calm and beautiful place where we get to do so many cool activities like harvesting fresh vegetables and decorating fairy gardens. I especially love sitting outside to paint and draw what I see. It's such a fun place to relax, create, and enjoy nature. Hi, my name is Maeve. I'm a fourth grader at Robert Down in Miss Bingham's class. I'm excited to share with you some of the things that make our garden special. When I'm in the garden, I feel calm because I'm in a beautiful, quiet space in Robert Down to think. I grow fruits and vegetables at my house, and our school community garden helps me learn and be inspired to make my own garden thrive. But one more thing, I think it is awesome that Mr. Kuth lets us sketch out the garden, so thank you, Mr. Kuth, for teaching us so much.
All right. I want to share with you that we had two amazing local artists support us with developing an art mural last spring that every single student at Robert Down last year had an opportunity to participate in creating. So at this time, I'd like to invite up Jordana Shear and Christy Chettle.
Well, I think that we both feel very blessed that we were invited to come and work with the kids. Both of us have been teaching art for many years, but this was a really special project where the scale was so big that when the students came in, they were, in awe over what they were going to get to do. And it was really interesting to see that whole process go so smoothly.
Yes, and we had a plan when we first got started, but it was very a fluid process as well because each class came in and offered different techniques, and they during lunchtime, different students that will be coming and talking just kept adding to the work, changing the work, and every day we came in, it just kept developing in all these different ways as art and design goes. So it was a very planned process, but also a very fluid process. And if you haven't had a chance to come see it, it's quite beautiful.
Thank you.
The next student wasn't able to make it today. However, she wanted to make sure she made a statement. Not sure if the audio's working, but if not, oh,
Working on our new school mural was so much fun, especially getting to paint all the little details on the otters, trees, and flowers. I love that it shows the beautiful nature we see every day here in Pacific Grove. The best part is knowing that our whole school worked together to create something awesome for everyone to enjoy. Thank you to Miss Christie and Miss Cher for helping us make the mural. Hi, my name is Vaitea and I am a 5th grader at RHD. I am very happy I got to be a part of the school mural. It was super fun that I got to paint the otters, trees, monarch butterflies, and the meadow. Thank you. Hi, my name is Erin. I'm in 5th grade. I painted the otters and butterflies on the mural. I feel really happy to see the mural in one big display. I want to thank the teachers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
To give you a little bit of background, the mural that used to be there was from 1991. And we felt like it really needed a bit of updating. I did also reach out to the original mural painters family to let them know that we would be replacing that mural and gave them an opportunity to take a picture. I'm grateful for our staff because I wouldn't have otherwise known how to get in contact with that family. Apparently, the parents live just around the corner. The parents said they still have paint marks in their garage from when their son painted that mural back in 1991. The process for creating this mural, I really sent some information out to through our principal's newsletter, asked everybody for different ideas on what they would like to see. And so this is really a conglomerate of all the different ideas. At the very end, I had several students vote on which concept they liked the best. Miss Christie and Miss Jordana came up with some concepts based on the information I gave them that came from the community and from the students. And they really worked hard to make it one big cohesive piece incorporating all the ideas. And so again, I just want to highlight that it's really the community members and their support and partnership that enhance the experiences that our students get to have at Robert Down. So many, many, many thanks to Farmer Keith, to Patricia Hamilton, to Ms. Jordana Shear and Ms. Christy Treadle for their incredible work, and to our board and superintendent for their support.
Well, thank you so much, Principal Brownfield. And how appropriate that the title of the presentation this evening was really focused on community partnerships, because I couldn't think of two more perfect examples that represent how our community and our schools and our staff are coming together to make incredible offerings and programs for our students. I think the garden itself, Mr. Larson, it's been wonderful to just see it evolve. I honestly thought that it was the best I could have possibly imagined last year. And when I got to see it on the first day of school at the beginning of this year, I was just amazed at how it just continues to just blossom and bloom and just grow in so many wonderful ways. And I think that's definitely a result of the love and the passion that you, the students, continue to pour into it. And you've given us a taste of that this evening. As for the mural, you know, what a beautiful process. I think to really have that idea, that was probably one of the first conversations I had with Principal Brownfield when she started in this position, and to see that process just grow and evolve over the last 2 years, and now to have this final product and something that every single student in the school was involved in, that you have your, you know, your stamp on, you know, that will last for years to come from here on forward. So just thank you to each of you. To our students, thank you so much for presenting this evening. I know that it has to be hard. You're coming up here and you're presenting to a whole audience here in the room and whoever is online, and you did so well, so much courage, and I'm so impressed with how well you articulated your thoughts. So thank you for sharing that with us and giving us a taste of what the process has been. I would like to present each of you with our Culture of We certificates, that truly what you have done tonight is you have shown us how you are putting into practice our 3 core values of belonging, of safety, and prosperity. And so it's my pleasure to present you with these. When you come up, you'll take your certificate. I'm going to ask for you to go ahead and just create a line in front of the dais. And when we're all up there, we're going to invite the board and our student board rep as well to come forward so we can take a photo together. Sound like a good plan? Yes? Okay. All right. Let's put our hands together for our students as they come up. Erin Lee. Vaitea Fusco. Katie Rosenthal. She was the one on the video. All right, we'll make sure she gets that. Gage DeFoy. Jackson Logan. Parker Rood. Julie Brendau. Estelle Ferreira. Maeve Dempsey. Francesca Peniela Montez. No. Jimena Arana Almanza. And then I definitely wanted to recognize the adults who are here this evening who have been so involved in helping our students achieve what they've been able to achieve. So we have to start, of course, with Mr. Keith Larson. Thank you, Keith. Farmer Keith. Patricia Hamilton. Jordana Shear. Christy Chettle. Let's put our hands together for this awesome group. And this is all under the direction of our wonderful principal. So our hands together for Principal Brownfield as well. Thank you. I am going to ask our board, Assistant Superintendent John, and our student board rep, Grace, to come on up to the front for a photo, please. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. Give our special guests a moment to head home. Calm, happy, and a special place. What a cool place to have on your campus, somewhere that makes you feel calm and happy and special. So that garden is such a special place, and I'm really excited to see the mural in person. Like, amazing collaboration and representation on that campus. So thank you to Principal Brownfield for sharing with the board. The next item on our agenda is the introduction of incoming student board representatives by Dr. Adamson.
It's my pleasure to be introducing our new student board rep this evening. So selected by their peers as leaders amongst leaders, it's my pleasure to welcome one of our two new student board reps this year to her first meeting, Grace Bishop. We have two student reps this year. Let's put our hands together for her. So we have two student reps this year, Grace, who you are meeting this evening, and Dylan Lantiero. Unfortunately, Dylan is out of state this evening for a pre-planned trip, but you will get to meet her officially. She will be joining Grace. The two of them will be here for our September 10th meeting. So we'll look forward to introducing her then as well. But I wanted to talk just a little bit about the importance of this role. The student board rep is a role that helps bridge the gap between administration and our student body. We look forward to the fresh perspective, the invaluable insights, and the unique voice that both Grace and Dylan will bring to our decision-making process. This year, each student rep has been assigned to one semester. Grace selected semester 1, and so she will be with us through the beginning of January, which is when Dylan will step in officially. But as I said, they'll both be here for the meeting in September. We had the chance to meet with both reps yesterday. Myself, Principal O'Meara, I was joined by President McNeary and Clerk Shamas for an orientation, and that gave us the chance to review the content for tonight's meeting, but also what student governance leadership is all about. I was impressed with the questions they asked and their level of comfort with the content. It's clear that Grace and Dylan are eager about serving in this role, and they understand the significant impact they can have and will have as a result. Both Grace and Dylan will play a crucial role in shaping the policies and decisions that directly impact the lives of all of our students. And we're grateful for the voice they will be able to bring to the discussions that we have here at the dais. Honestly, some of the most impactful input at the dais for me has been the input that we receive from our students. And that was a strong message that we shared with both of them yesterday. And they understand the enormity of the role that they bring, and that we truly want to hear from them, their ideas and their experiences. So Grace, thank you for your willingness to serve in this role as an advocate and a representative for our entire student body. Everyone, once again, please help me in welcoming Grace Bishop.
You don't have to feel pressure to say a few words, but you're welcome to if you'd like to. It's the green is go.
Hello.
Closer to, yeah, there you go.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, there we go. Hey guys, I see a lot of familiar faces. Yeah, I'm really excited. Looking forward to coming to all these meetings this semester. That sounded sarcastic, but it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to learning a lot. And yeah, I appreciate this role that you guys have trusted me with, and hopefully we can get a lot done and speak for our student body, But yeah, thank you guys.
Well said for your first comments. I think we often say as a board that the student voice in our boardroom, there's a bunch of adults making decisions about your lives. And so your voice is like crucial and the most important in the room. So keep that in mind as we're moving forward. And next up on our agenda is our communications portion and student representative report comments. You were up first.
Yeah, so mainly we have the start of the school year. So we had our Breaker Buddies on August 4th. We welcomed over 100 combined ninth graders and new students from leadership toward them around their new campus. And students, I think, are settling into their new schedules over the first 2 weeks. We had a lot of events at lunch the past week. We had root beer floats and giveaways and music. We're looking forward to our neon back to school dance tomorrow. It'll be outside at the Breaker Breezeway, outside of the gym. It's a casual dance, and I personally think it's always the most fun dance. And we're expecting a big turnout. We also have fall sports in full swing. There's football, boys and girls water polo, boys and girls cross country, girls tennis, girls golf, girls volleyball, and cheer, and also breaker girls, but that's kind of a year-round thing. Then we have the shoe game for football, which is earlier this year instead of at the end of the year, which we've done kind of previously. And it'll be on Friday, August 28th at Carmel High School. So we're looking forward to that. And I know leadership has a spirit week planned and hall decorations and everything, which we talked about at our class meetings today. So that should be exciting. This year, we're bringing back the shoe luncheon, which is where the football teams will meet at, it'll be hosted at Carmel High School on Wednesday, August 26th, and both teams will have lunch together. And guest speakers will emphasize the importance of maintaining sportsmanship while maintaining a healthy rivalry. So that's something we're bringing back after COVID, which I know we're excited about. And then for community high school, the students and staff have hit the ground running. They have their first field trip to Point Lobos. It's in the planning stages, and they also have numerous community and career guest speakers lined up throughout the year. They're also looking forward to highlighting their collaboration with Me Earth and our garden agricultural partnership at the September 10th board meeting. So those are our current updates. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. There's a lot going on this month already. Whew. Okay, bringing it back to the agenda. Up next on our agenda is board member comments and written communications. Board, I kind of I'll start with written communications, and with the start of the school year, I didn't have much. I had an email about a PGMS band position and a couple emails about boys volleyball at PGMS. Do either of you have anything to add, or Trustee Wax online? Go for it.
Volleyball? There was.
2 emails regarding boys volleyball at PGMS.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I missed
Is that what you're referring to?
Yep. That's
Awesome. Okay, thanks. Okay, I'll give then my board comments just to say welcome to a new school year. Feels like we've been in the school year for more than a week, I have to say. Having the back to school transition and car week and unfortunately a wildfire, like there's just a lot going on right now. So just kind of stopping to express my gratitude to our staff and our families and to the board for just staying focused and prioritizing students and the work that we have to do. Oh, one exciting thing I wanted to highlight was that for the Monterey County Weekly, they do a best of edition every year. And we had a nominee from Forest Grove for best teacher, and that's Mrs. Beth Sina. So voting is still open if you want to go online on the Monterey County Weekly. She's one of the finalists for best teacher this year. So very cool way to be highlighted in the community. And then kind of obviously we are now a board of 4 due to Trustee Hazen resigning, and he announced that at his last board meeting, so that's public. And then just for everyone's information, because the election is so close, we're going to wait for the election to fill that board seat for his area. So election year, 3 seats up. Filing period just ended yesterday at 5 for anyone to file if they're hoping to run. Areas 1, 3, and 5 are on the ballot, and I filed to run in area 5 where I live. No one filed against me, so I'll be serving 4 more years. Thank you. Area 3, there's 1 candidate, a new trustee, Nicole Rivera, no relation to Frank Rivera, I'm told. So congratulations to her. And in area 1, there's a contested race with 3 candidates. So looking forward to learning more about them and following that race closely. So welcome back. Thank you all. Who would like to go next? or not.
I just wanted to say welcome back to school again. And welcome to you, Grace. I enjoyed meeting you and Dylan. And I, it's really we've tried to evolve this position. And so you're part of that, kind of giving us input just in terms of what might make this position better. So keep that in mind, like toward the end of the school year, you and Dylan can maybe give us suggestions about what you wish would have happened or something like that. I would appreciate kind of an evaluation from you. And that's all.
Will be very short, but welcome back to everybody. And I have a feeling it's going to be a great year, although it's starting a little bumpy with fires and car week. That's okay. And I'm just happy to be here. And that's all. And welcome to you. We're glad you're here.
Trustee Wax?
Let's see. It's really not seemed like the school year because I've been gone all week, so there was just basically 2 days. And I know we're getting a presentation a little bit later, but our schools look great, so I'm really thankful for all the work over the summer. And obviously I'm really thankful for everyone at the school sites and in the district office getting our kids and our sites ready. So I'm excited and thank you all.
Thank you. Moving on, item C is our superintendent's report. Dr. Adamson.
Well, I do have some slides, so Director Algazi will get those up in just a moment. But my focus of my report this evening is really just going to, highlight our first week, a preparation leading up to the first day, and then, the first day and first week. And I'm not going to be mentioning fires or car week at all. That whole thing, imagine that. All right, so
You just did.
well, fine. I did. You're right. Yes. All right. I think if we could just move on to the first slide. So I'd really just like to begin by, thanking our entire district office staff and HR team for planning 3 essential kickoff events prior to the first day of school. That's a big part of our being able to be ready, is making sure that we are welcoming our staff back and having them prepared. With a total of 38 new hires in the past year, our new hire orientation, which is always organized by our HR team, ensured that every new team member felt part of the PGUSD family right away and were welcomed appropriately. That was followed 2 days later on July 31st with our welcome back breakfast for all staff, which in my opinion just set a wonderful positive tone to the entire school year. There was just a lot of energy, optimism, positivity in that room as we reflected on the achievements of the past year and took time to truly focus on what our focus is for this coming year. And then, of course, August 3rd was a powerful day of professional learning led by Dr. Hagquist and our site principals, ensuring that our teachers are equipped with their professional learning community data strategies to meet every student's needs. Just all in all, a wonderful way to begin the year. I would like to also mention just a special thanks to Kiwanis. They have year after year donated and graciously offered to prepare breakfast for us at that welcome back staff breakfast each year. And it's just a delicious morning of pancakes and sausages. And we're just thrilled that they continue to be able to do that for us. All right, moving on to our next slide. Equally vital to our opening success is the enormous and behind the scenes effort that goes on as a result of our maintenance operations and transportation team, all under the leadership of Director John Anderson. Beyond deep cleaning every classroom, hallway, restroom, and space, MOT also this summer worked tirelessly to support the intensive bond construction projects, which were happening across every campus this summer. If you haven't seen the transformation firsthand, Director Anderson will actually be sharing a detailed report later this evening. But I would just love to give a big thanks to our entire MOT crew and department. They have worked tirelessly. Moving on to the next slide, I have for many years now referred to that first day as the miracle of the first day of school for many reasons, right? But it truly is a symphony of coordinated effort that goes into the planning and preparation. Welcoming 1,655 students last Wednesday is truly a testament to the heart and soul that our entire staff invests in the young lives of our students. From our district office team, MOT, and custodians who work throughout the summer, to our bus drivers, our office staff, our yard supervisors, our instructional aides, support staff, administrators, and our teachers, every role is a vital note in that masterpiece that really contributes to that first day. And seeing every one of our students arrive safely and joyfully on that first day is truly, in my opinion, one of the greatest triumphs. It really seems to roll out, magically and without a lot of effort, but we know better. So just really wanted to give a huge thank to our entire staff and team for making that happen so beautifully. All right, moving on to the next slide. Safety is always a big factor in that first week of school, and I just really want to extend our continued gratitude to the Pacific Grove Police Department and our city partners for their active collaboration. PGPD provided increased patrols all week of the first week of school to ensure smooth arrivals and dismissals. And then, obviously moving forward, we will also be focusing a little bit more on e-bike safety. And so there's going to be more information coming out. We are looking at some policy language to really sort of identify and work in how we are continuing to just ensure the safety of our students in arriving to and from school in the area of e-bikes. So just be looking for more information on that. There too, we are working closely with PGPD and our the City Traffic Commission as well. So really grateful for those ongoing partnerships. Moving on to the next slide. Let's see, I think just looking at the year ahead, we have to take a moment to reflect on where we are and where we've come. As we look to the past year, our baseline data shows incredible strength. Academically, PGUSD continues to outperform county and state averages with growth across ELA, math, and science. Culturally, student belonging jumped by 16 percent points to 83.8%. 91% of our students know that staff care about them, and 95% feel respected. Our parent trust in our socio-emotional responsiveness climbed to 88%. This is promising data that we have to and we do continue to look at because it tells us what we're doing well, what we need to continue doing, but also it helps us identify where our areas of growth and focus need to be. Looking at the next slide, I think it's important to note that while celebrating an 83.8% sense of belonging, that is meaningful, it also means that 16% of our students are still feeling disconnected. Our major strategic focus this year will be closing the belonging gap. A true culture of we means leaving 0 students behind. It requires us to identify those students quickly and respond with a coordinated academic and socio-economic and socio-emotional support for all of our students. And so that will truly be the focus. That's what we highlighted at our Welcome Back breakfast and what we'll continue to focus on as the year progresses. There is a video available that I had shared in my Welcome Back video, in my Welcome Back message to everyone. We shared that at our Welcome Back breakfast as well. I'm going to go ahead and ask our Director Al-Ghazi to just go ahead and show us a short snippet of it. It's kind of more of a sort of a coming release and interest if you would like to go ahead and watch the full video. But I thought there's our own students that we're hearing from, and they're the ones who are telling us what we're doing well. So go ahead and listen.
I'm the proud superintendent of Pacific Grove Unified School District.
My name is Larry Hagquist.
The volume up a little, Director Al-Ghazi. No.
Our local control accountability plan has.
All right, I think I'll just let that be. That video is, I know many of the people in this room saw it at our Welcome Back breakfast. I encourage you to please go ahead and take a moment to watch it. It's 3.5 minutes long, but it truly identifies from our students themselves what is working, what they're noticing, and helps define our continued work and focus for the coming year. And then really the final, piece of information I wanted to share was, as we're talking about our 3 core values, as our building our culture of we know that it really comes down to our incredible staff who, really have to be doing the work to allow that to happen. And so, we made mention of one teacher already this evening, but I would like to just say from the Monterey Now weekly finalists, we actually have 2 teachers, one from each of our elementary schools, Beth Sina and Erica Chavez, who have been named Best K-12 Teacher finalists in Monterey County. I love this because it truly is the people identifying
identifying and nominating those teachers are those who know them best, right? Our own families and community members. So as you said so well, President McNary, let's make sure we are voting for them, and, let's see where that ends up. But just how wonderful that they were nominated. And with that, I'm going to just turn it back to you, President McNary.
Thank you for the report, Dr. Adamson. Item D, safety report. Do we have one today?
We do.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Board President and trustees. Just going to provide a slight brief update tonight. First, I want to thank everybody that showed up to the National Night Out last week. It was the night before school, so not the most heavily attended year that we've seen because it was the night before school. But it was really a good time for families, staff, law enforcement, community partners to get together and collaborate on on safety in our community, but a lot of discussion around school safety. So thanks to those that attended and for the city for putting that on. As we begin the school year, as Dr. Adamson mentioned, we've been seeing a larger noticeable increase in presence with our law enforcement officers at drop off and pickup at our schools. We've been seeing folks being pulled over and more citations, but I think really it lends to the education around our schools, which is proper traffic flow. Where should you park? Where should you not park? I mean, it's that educational component. And unfortunately, yes, there were citations issued, but I think that just extends to the collaboration that the district has with PG Police Department and their commitment to providing school safe routes to school and safe traffic around our schools. A couple of updates related to safety improvements in our site. Pacific Grove High School if you've been in the parking lots, you've seen we've got some new parking lots. Thank you, Director Anderson and team. With some speed bumps. I've heard that the speed bumps are tall. We apologize for that, but we're slowing down the traffic with the speed bumps. Including crosswalks, striping, new handicap stalls, and so forth. It's really just a highlight of the work that's been going on in the district. And again, I know Director Anderson will cover some of this this evening, but we appreciate that. At the high school also, we're about 90% complete with the fencing project on the rear of the campus by 90% because our pedestrian gates have not been installed to this point. So we're still going through the state approvals process. And once the Division of State Architect approves the project, we'll have our pedestrian gates in, which are self-closures with panic harder and lockable gates for our back of the campus. At the middle school, if you've been to the middle school, you've seen this project started in the spring of last year, but we finalized the fencing project on Fountain Avenue. And we've received nothing but positive feedback from the site related to the ability to kind of close the campus down. Let's see, as we begin implementing some new changes in law, just bringing this to the attention of the board and the community tonight, SB 2968 is related to wildfire preparedness and our comprehensive school safety plan. How timely is that with what's going on in Big Sur? We'll be working with our school sites to revamp our comprehensive school safety plans to include the new requirements this year, which has to be approved by school site council and by this board by March 1st. And then finally, in response to some recent notifications by the County Office of Education regarding nationwide swatting calls and school threats, the district's reinforced with the school sites and our administrators and staff the importance of taking every threat seriously, reporting it immediately, and following established emergency protocols. So overall, as the district approaches, continues its efforts related to safety, we're focusing this year on prevention, preparedness, partnership, and communication. That's my report this evening.
Thank you for the thorough report. Item 5 on our agenda is individuals just desiring to address the board. So public comment on any item of interest to the public that is within the board's jurisdiction will be heard. The board will also allow time for public comment on each agenda item. Public comment is no more than 3 minutes per speaker pursuant to board policy. And just a reminder that the meeting of the Board of Education is a business meeting of the board conducted in public, and the Brown Act limits the board's ability to respond to public comment, though we may choose to direct items to administration or for a future agenda. So with that said, first we have community members who wish to address the board on non-agenda items. If anyone would like to come up to the podium or raise your digital hand to make a public comment, please do so now. Seeing none, I will move on to the next item. Item B is PGUSD staff comments on non-agenda items this evening. Come up in person or raise your digital hand. Okay. Okay. I will move on to consent. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine or may have been discussed at a previous meeting. There's no discussion of consent items prior to a vote unless a member requests specific items be discussed or removed from consent. This evening, we have a consent agenda which consists of items A through Q in the board packet. And I will first go out to public comment. Is there anyone in the public who would like to make a comment on the consent agenda as presented, either online or in person? Thank you, Director Algaze. I'll bring it back to this body for any discussion on consent. Okay. Seeing none, would anyone like to make a motion? Or actually, student trustee, I'm going to guess based on our consent discussion that you probably don't have a lot to say about the consent agenda. Okay. I'll just add my not discussion comment that we're having a contract with Wonder Whoops for emotional support dogs instead of drug or other sniffing dogs. And I think that's really cool. So I looking forward to see how it goes. With that, I will make a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented. Would someone please second?
I'll second.
You, motion made by myself and a second from Clerk Shamas. This evening, all of our votes will be roll call, including student trustee.
Student trustee Grace Bishop.
Yes or aye or no?
Aye.
You, President McNary,
Yes.
Clerk Shamas,
Aye.
Trustee Otmar,
Aye.
and Trustee Wax.
Aye.
Thank you all. Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Adamson. And consent is approved. The next item on our agenda is a public hearing, and this is a tentative agreement with CSEA Chapter 229 for fiscal year 2026 and 2027. And I am going to open the public hearing at 7:23. And Chief Rogaman.
Good evening, everyone. I am Buck Rogaman, the Chief Human Resources Officer for PGUSD, and I stand before you this evening bringing forth a tentative agreement with PGUSD and the California School Employees Association Chapter 229. This settlement is going to establish a 2% increase across the salary schedule for our classified employees, as well as a $1,487 increase to the health and welfare benefits. You will recall that all of the other employee groups in the district had reached this agreement for 26-27. We had a verbal agreement with CSEA, but we had to formally open up the negotiations process for the successor agreement in order to have this increase apply to the 26-27 year. And through the positive collaboration with CSEA, we were able to establish that agreement and get it signed in record time so that it could appear before you at the very first school board meeting of the year. So once again, I just want to recognize the hard work of CSEA President Jill Houston, the CSEA field representative Sarah Herrera, and all of the partners on the district team as well for bringing this item before you at the first meeting of the school year.
Okay, thank you. We will go out to public comment on the public hearing regarding the CSEA tentative agreement. Would anyone in the room or online like to make a public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for discussion. And just to note on the agenda, there will be a related action item for this item and the next public hearing. But any board members are welcome to make a comment at this time if they'd like. All right. I'm not seeing any movement, so I'm going to close up board discussion and close the public hearing on that item at 7:25. Thank you, Chief Rogaman. Item B on our public hearing agenda is AB 1200 disclosure of the tentative agreement between PGUSD and the CSEA Chapter 229. This is also a public hearing, so I will open it at 7:25. And Assistant Superintendent Jorn, this is your item.
Thank you, President McNary. In conjunction with the item that was just presented by Chief Officer Rogaman and per the Assembly Bill 1200, we have to bring forward any augmentation to salary schedule or increased expenditures to the board for approval. Prior to that, it actually requires that we bring it to the County Office of Education. There's a 10-day timeline for review and approval. And the County Office of Education did a rushed review for the district office and provided us a review letter. I believe it came in last night, which was a 7-day review, giving the county's blessing on the AB 1200 disclosures. You will see the fiscal impact, which I need to report down below for fiscal year 26-27. And before I state this, I might add that this was already built into the 26-27 adopted budget based on the verbal agreement with CSEA prior to the tentative agreement being approved. You'll see the fiscal impact, total fiscal impacts, 581,879 for 26-27. That's 331,255 to salary schedule, 119,481 statutory obligation, and an increase of 131,113 to the health and welfare district contribution.
Thank you for the information. We will go out to public comment on this public hearing. Would anyone in the room or online like to make a comment? Okay.
Wanted to wait till we got to this point where we are looking at how much work it took to get this turned around so quickly. This was a timeline situation with our contract. It had to close June 30th and then reopen July 1st. The agreement we were able to reach, the rush to get it to the district or to the county office and then them getting it back to us. Much appreciation, Josh, Buck, and the entire district team along with the board. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comment. Would anyone else online or in the room like to make a public comment on this item? Okay, I will bring it back then to the board for any discussion. Looking around. Okay. Seeing none, we can close the public hearing on this item at 7:28. And move on to our action discussion portion of the agenda. Item A is the tentative agreement with CSEA Chapter 229 for fiscal year 2026 and 27. Chief Rogaman.
Absolutely. This is the action item that is associated with the public hearing that we just held regarding the tentative agreement with CSEA Chapter 229. Once again, this represents a 2% increase across the board on the classified salary schedule, as well as an increase of 1,487 to the health and welfare benefits for the employees that choose to take the benefits with the district. Assistant Superintendent Jorn just talked about the overall fiscal impact, and this has been worked into the 26-27 budget. I'm happy to answer any questions that the trustees may have at this time.
Thank you. And thank you for the reminder that this has already been worked into our budget. That's very important. We will first go out to public comment on this item. Would anyone in the room or online like to make a comment on the tentative agreement with CSEA? Would anyone on the board like to comment or discuss this item? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. I'm sorry. I will so move. Thank you, Trustee Otmar. Motion made from Trustee Otmar. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second from Clerk Shamas. We will be taking a roll call vote.
Student Board Rep Grace Bishop.
Hi.
President McNary.
Yes.
Clerk Shamas.
Aye.
Trustee Otmar.
Yes.
And Trustee Wax.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you all. Thank you to both teams for your work on this. And thank you for sharing how much hard work went into the tight turnaround and stressful. It's nice that by the time it gets to us, I'm sorry, but I very much appreciate your end of it. So thank you. Item B is the AB Assembly Bill 1200 disclosure action item, and Assistant Superintendent Jorn.
Thank you, President McNary. Just point everyone to the board packet, page 216 through 231 in the board packet is the actual public disclosure for AB 1200 disclosure for the tentative agreement. And as I described before, this was built into the budget and we've covered the fiscal impact. So unless there's any questions from the board.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public? We'll first go to public comment who would like to comment on this item. Please raise your digital hand or approach the podium. Excuse me. No public comment. Back to the board. Would anyone from the board like to make a comment at this time? Clerk Shamas.
When it says ongoing negotiated percentage increase, why does it say ongoing?
The percentage increase is ongoing, tied to the salary schedule. So the salary schedule itself in total moves up 2%.
Anything else from the board? If not, I will entertain a motion on this item to review and approve the district general fund combined budget and all AB 1200 disclosure. Okay. We're quiet this evening. I'll make the motion to approve the AB 1200 disclosure. Would someone like to make a second, please?
I'll second.
Got 2 seconds.
Okay. 1 second, 2 seconds. Motion made by myself and a second from Clerk Shamas. Roll call vote, Dr. Adamson.
Student Board Rep Grace Bishop.
Yes.
President McNary.
Yes.
Clerk Shamas.
Yes.
Trustee Otmar.
Yes.
And Trustee Wax.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Motion carries. And thank you all for your work on that item. Item C on our agenda is a resolution recognizing National Hispanic Heritage Month, which is September 15th, 2026 through October 15, 2026. Dr. Adamson.
Well, yes, this September we'll be taking time across our district to recognize and honor National Hispanic Heritage Month. It's not simply as a formality, but as an intentional and meaningful celebration because it reflects our values, particularly our commitment to cultivating a learning environment in which every student feels seen, respected, and feels a true sense of belonging. It aligns directly with our culture of we and the ongoing work that we've engaged in around cultural proficiency and inclusion. Recognizing National Hispanic Heritage Month is one way that we as a district can reinforce that commitment. It's a reminder to our students and families that they matter, that their stories are part of the American story, and that our schools are better, stronger, and more vibrant because of their presence. Across all grade levels, PGUSD schools will be recognizing this important month in a variety of different ways. Through their literacy and library collections, as an example, featuring dedicated book displays, curated reading lists, and digital exhibits. Through grade-appropriate classroom lessons, advisory sessions, and social science and ethnic studies lessons. You'll see secondary students engaging in open-ended research assignments to explore the contributions, experiences, and cultural impact of prominent Hispanic figures and historic milestones. And then across all schools, you can also expect to see decorated common areas with festive flags, banners, and student-created bulletin boards that honor Hispanic culture and heritage, while also inviting family volunteers to share cultural traditions and presentations. All of this as a means of fostering meaningful home-to-school connections. At this time, it is my pleasure to invite President McNary to read Resolution 1201.
Thank you, Dr. Adamson. Resolution number 1201, recognizing September 15, 2026 through October 15, 2026 as National Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas National Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated every year from September 15 to October 15 across the United States, honoring the rich heritage, history, traditions, contributions, and cultural diversity of American citizens who came from Mexico, Spain, the Caribbean, the South, and Central America. These citizens' roots trace back to Spain and 19 countries, including Mexico, Central and South American nations, and Caribbean territories like Puerto Rico and Cuba. Whereas this month-long celebration starts in mid-September to coincide with the independence anniversaries of several Latin American countries. On September 15th, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and Honduras commemorate their independence from Spain, followed by Mexico on September 16th and Chile on September 18th. The period also includes Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples Day, also known as Dia de la Raza, in mid-October. And whereas this year's theme, Collective Heritage, Honoring the Past, Inspiring the Future, deeply resonates with the Pacific Grove Unified School District's 3 core values of belonging, safety, and prosperity, while encompassing the culture of we, thus emphasizing the importance of both preserving and celebrating the rich traditions of the Hispanic community, while also looking forward to the future and the contributions that will continue to shape American culture. Whereas there is no collaboration more vital to the success of PGUS students than that between our families, staff, and the community at large. By embracing this collaboration, we build a stronger, more resilient education community that recognizes the profound impact of Hispanic pioneers, past, present, and future, on our shared journey toward excellence. Together, we honor the legacy of those who have come before us and continue to inspire the leaders and change makers of tomorrow. And in the Pacific Grove Unified School District, Hispanic students make up 20.9% of the population. Whereas the word Hispanic is typically used to describe people with a heritage rooted in Spanish-speaking Latin America, the word Latino typically refers to people of Latin American, Mexico, South and Central America, the Caribbean origin or descent. And whereas Hispanic Heritage Month was first introduced by Congressman George E. Brown in 1968, with the civil rights movement, the need to recognize the contributions of the Latin community gained traction in the 1960s, and awareness of the multicultural groups living in the United States was simultaneously growing. And therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Pacific Grove Unified School District hereby honors National Hispanic Heritage Month and recognizes that Hispanic Americans have been integral to the prosperity of the United States. Their contributions to the nation are immeasurable, and they embody the best of American values. The Hispanic American community has left an indelible mark on the U.S. culture and economy, and then passed and adopted today. Okay. As with all items, we will first go out to public comment. Would anyone like to make a public comment on this resolution? Either in person or online, you can raise your digital hand. Okay, seeing none, I will bring it back to the board, including our student trustee, for any discussion or comments on this agenda item. No? Okay. Thank you to you, Dr. Adamson, for highlighting the work going on across the district that connects to this resolution, and why it's important that even though as a board, it's kind of a symbolic thing that it flows down from here. So very much appreciated. Would someone like to?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, thank you, Trustee Wax.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion to adopt resolution number 1161 from Trustee Wax and a second from Trustee Otmar. Roll call vote, Dr. Adamson.
Student Board Rep Bishop.
Yes.
President McNeary.
Yes.
Clerk Shamas.
Yes.
Trustee Otmar.
Yes.
And Trustee Wax.
Yes.
Okay, thank you all, and motion carries. Item D on our agenda is a job description for adult education English as a second language. I'll turn it over to you, Chief Rogaman.
Is one in a line of the job descriptions that we've been bringing before the board. And when we are going to fly a position and a job description doesn't exist, we like to have the opportunity to draft a job description for that. And I really want to compliment the work of Principal Barbara Martinez from the adult school, as well as the program coordinator, Kristen Arps, who really did the heavy lifting in terms of drafting the job description that you have before you here this evening. Also want to thank Angela Lippert, who put the job description into the district format that we're using now, and kind of helped got things ready for us to do the review before we brought the job description for an ESL teacher at adult ed before the school board. So if there are any questions about the job description, I'm happy to entertain them at this time.
Thank you. We'll first go out to public comment on this agenda item, the proposed job description for an adult English English teacher. Okay, I tried to stall for a couple seconds there just in case. I'll bring it back to the board. Would anybody like to make any comments or have any questions on this item? Trustee Otmar.
I just had a question about, I'm just looking through it. I noticed that maybe there were two places I saw that there was some strikeout of just a couple words. Was this a recycled job description or is this an entirely new job description?
This is a new one, and I am looking for the strikeouts that you're referencing.
They were just, like page 238 toward the bottom of the page, the word, or midway through, the word "and" is struck out. And I think that there's another one. So I just wondered why. I was just curious more than anything if this was a previous job description that had been modified or.
No, the only thing I can think is that in the editing process, yes, so we went ahead and edited those. And I would imagine that in the track changes, all we need to do is to eliminate those strikeouts that are there. So it's part of the proofing process
It was
that
just,
we did.
yeah, it was more curiosity to figure out if it had come from a different job description that had been, okay, that had been modified. Okay.
No, this one is brand new to the district.
That's all.
Clerk Shamos?
It seems rather long. And some of it seems a little bit repetitive, but be that as it may, my question is, what is trauma-informed practices?
Trauma-informed practices are recognition that as you go through to cover content, that there may be people that have gone through some kind of trauma in their lives, and the instructor needs to be sensitive to those as they're choosing the instructional strategies that they're going to use in the class. So it's always kind of that sense of awareness as you go to develop your lesson plans that you might have students in your class that have suffered different kinds of trauma. And so you always want to be aware of the content that you're choosing so that you don't trigger a reaction in students that they might be sensitive to.
Well, how would you know that?
It's more of an awareness. It's looking at content that might be violent in nature or that on the surface one might not be necessarily aware of without thinking through another lens of someone that might have suffered some kind of abuse in their lives and how they might approach that content. So it's really kind of an ability to empathize with other points of view as you go to build your lesson plans and conduct your instruction.
Yeah, I wonder if it's more helpful to say, I mean, would a principal be reviewing some kind of said curriculum that a teacher might bring forward? That, I mean, it's just I don't know, I just think it's a odd inclusion of very specific. It's so specific. I don't know. So I would assume that when a person is hired for this job, that, the principal would explain these things to them.
And
So that, I mean, because I wouldn't want somebody to get caught up in like, oh, yeah, you violated this job description because of this. If the person hasn't, isn't aware of it because it's newer, let's say.
sure. And I think that Dr. Adamson can kind of speak a little bit toward trauma-informed practices and kind of how they fit in with the cultural proficiency work that we've been doing too. So.
And I think what's important to note, Shamas, is that, trauma-informed practices, that is something that really is embedded in a lot of the teacher instruction that our, veteran, new, incoming, current teachers receive. It's definitely a part of the, credentialing, program that, teachers do. So I think the intention is that, there is a basic understanding of teachers no matter what their experience is coming in. And I think that's why you're going to see that actually mentioned in all new, job descriptions coming forward, just because it is more of sort of just an overarching expectation.
Okay.
And, we offer training for any of our teachers current who, who want, to really, nurture or, further their experience in that regard. But it really truly is just more of a standard, expectation.
Okay. And just coming from adult ed, there is a different, criteria for adult ed teachers. So just, I just wanted to understand that, like, would a person who thinks they're just going to be teaching a foreign language or teaching English as a second language, would they be expected to be aware of that? It's just because adult ed teachers, a lot of them are coming from, a place of, not the normal credentialing process. They can get a credential, but just that's my only concern. Like, I don't know if this is written up as an adult ed type of credential or teacher, or more of just our general teachers.
I mean, I think it came to us as an adult education job description. Is that correct, Chief Rogan?
It did. And I think that some of the essential functions speak to that in terms of being able to well, it's a sort of more of that practical language to help people, communicate in English in their everyday lives. That's outlined pretty well in this job description. Things like the integrated education and training, the workforce preparation, civics education, and transition pathways. Those kinds of elements that are in the job description are aimed specifically toward adult students.
I think the only additional piece I would add to that is really, I think a lot of the training that Principal Martinez has done in the last, 2 to 3 years is very much along, sort of that engagement component, bringing in, not only sort of families, but really working with their staff that aligns beautifully to our, cultural proficiency work. And that training itself is also being, provided, to staff at the adult school as well. But ultimately, it ties right in with, the work that we're doing.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying that it's, you're teaching adults. So it's there's a little bit of a separation between the children we're teaching and the adults we're teaching. But this would be Barbara Martinez's responsibility to inform her new staff coming in. Okay.
And another question. So I'm pulling up previous job descriptions just to kind of compare and contrast. And I know that Barbara Martinez has been doing a ton of work at the adult school with professional growth and all of those types of things. Like we were talking about trauma-informed practices, and has set an expectation. So I'm just wondering about the remaining job descriptions and how those are going to start changing and adapting to reflect what this job description reflects.
Right. So one of the things so we are going to have some standard items that will be a part of all of the job descriptions that we do. And I think that one of the things that you notice is we're using a standardized template as well. So there's always going to be a definition, and where there is a career pathway present for like the classified employees, that's going to be really, really, really clear what that is too. With the certificated job descriptions, it's a little bit different because there's not necessarily career pathways that are built into those. However, the district is going to work elements into the job description that reflect the 4 LCAP goals that we have. And that trauma-informed practice mentioned in this job description really falls under the 4th goal of the LCAP. So you can expect to see elements of the LCAP goals built into the job descriptions that we bring forward.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for that.
All right. Any further discussion from members of the board or comments from our student trustee? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the job description for the adult education English as a second language teacher. Would anybody like to make that motion?
I'll move to accept the job description for adult education English as a second language.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, motion made from trustee Otmar and a second from trustee Wax. We will need a roll call vote. Dr. Adamson.
Student Board Rep Bishop,
Yes.
President McNary,
Yes.
Clerk Shamaz,
Yes.
Trustee Otmar,
Yes.
and Trustee Wax.
Yes.
Okay, thank you all. Motion carries. And
Thank you.
thank you for doing the ongoing work to add these job descriptions. Item E, the remaining item on our action calendar or action agenda is the proposed board meeting calendar, and I will turn it over to you, Dr. Adamson.
So there are no proposed changes to the calendar as it stands. We have our next special board meeting in 2 weeks, and then our next regular meeting September 10th, but no changes proposed.
Okay, we'll go out to public comment on the board calendar as it stands. Would anyone in the room or online like to make a public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, would any members of the board like to discuss the calendar? Clerk Shamaz.
Just for the next meeting is on board governance, and I talked about this with Jen, board president, about having superintendent goals for the year brought up for us, because we should be putting that together. So just so that the rest, so Mike, you can start thinking about what kind of goals for this year you'd like to see, and I'd like people to have something that they're already thinking about before
I think you meant board goals, right? You said superintendent goals, which I'll be bringing forward as well, but I think we are talking about board goals which align.
Yes,
right?
yes. Well, where would the superintendent goals come in then?
We should put them on there, so it's a regular thing, but typically I'll bring those forward September, October for your review. Yes.
Okay.
But are you thinking that the discussion revolves around both?
They
of
really
them, right?
mesh.
They
but,
do. I agree.
But okay, well, we can talk about
I
both
think
of
that,
them.
Sure.
Okay.
I like it. But to that point, we need to add that to the list. That way it's an ongoing, element. So we'll, add that for the next packet. That way it's listed for future meetings as well.
You're talking
in
about
August.
you're putting your goals in. Yeah.
Right.
So it's
And
not
board
listed
goals
here.
as well, right? Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Agreed.
Thank you.
Okay. No changes, so we do not need a motion or any action to move on. We can now move on to the information discussion portion of our agenda. Item A is the review of the 2025-26 actual and preview of 26-27 fiscal year estimated property tax revenue. That appears on page 246 in our packet, and I'll turn it over to you, Assistant Superintendent Jorn.
Thank you, President McNary. And we have up on the screen here just a couple of slides to try to summarize what's in the packet. Just real quickly for those tuning in that may or may not be aware, the school district is a basic aid school district, community funded district, whereby most of our revenue that we receive for the school district is through property taxes. We do have our local control funding formula base, which is a base minimum, and then predominantly everything on top of that is our property taxes. You can see here that in December, we usually receive around 54% of our annual property taxes at the end of December. And then in April, another 33%, and then 13% is received in various amounts throughout the year. And unfortunately for the CBO, it's tough to kind of put a finger on where those property taxes are going to fall and when. And we've seen a lot of changes over the course of the last 4 years related to receipts coming in from the county. So in the past, I was able to determine that, February and March, we saw kind of an influx of property tax receipts. And then in April, we get our relatively larger hit of 33%. But this past year, the fiscal year we're talking about, some of those were delayed. We saw them coming in June, believe it or not. And actually, we saw some hit in July after the end of the fiscal year for prior year tax receipts. And I'll talk a little bit about that. You can see there that overall from 1991 to 2008, the property tax revenue grew on average around 5.84%. There was a dip from 09 to 11, and then we had a couple of odd years there right before COVID and right after COVID. But ultimately, what we plan on is around a 5% growth over the prior fiscal year. That information comes to us through an assessed valuation study done through the county. They share that with the 3 basic aid school districts in the county, and that's how we base our revenue projections. Next slide, Lewis. So you'll see here for 25-26, our actuals, and just to give you an update, all of this is factored into the budget revision that I'll be bringing forward in October. So the October budget revision is really our first budget revision, and that factors in any of the property taxes that weren't built into our 26-27 adopted budget, meaning that it might change our beginning fund balances. So I'll update the board on that in our October revision. But you'll see here, 39,232,953 are our actual receipts. I might add that the 232,806 increase is predominantly related to our prior year and delinquent tax receipts that we saw come in July. In the board packet, I believe it says around 4.78%. It was less until we received those property tax receipts, which posted last week. So I included them in the slide and included them in the discussion for this evening. You can see the 26-27 projections there, a 5% increase over 25-26 nets around 40.8 million in projected property tax receipts. I covered the fact that we'll be bringing this forward in a budget revision in October, where our beginning fund balances may change based on increased tax receipts. And that is my presentation. If the board has any questions, I'm willing to entertain them.
Thank you for the information, Assistant Superintendent Jorn. We'll first go to the public to see if anyone would like to make a comment on this information item, either online or in person. Thank you, Director Algaze. Board, any discussion on property taxes as they stand? We see this every year at about this time, and I think we're always hoping we're going to be accurate and perhaps we'll get more money than we expect, but it's been pretty consistent. So, okay. Not a place we're going to find additional revenue like a magical source, right? When someone builds a giant building in Pacific Grove, and then probably not that. Okay. Anyone else would like to make a comment? If not, this is an info item.
Josh, so did they give you a reason for why it was late this year?
So I'll be clear, when I build the budget, I never built in that property tax revenue to delayed and delinquent tax receipts. I'd say that the district, we don't want to rely on that revenue. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of just expanding the question a bit, but we don't want to rely on that revenue in the budget. Some years it comes in a couple of months into the next fiscal year. Some years it comes in right in June. I'm not sure why there was a delay. I actually did not ask the county this, but it did post last week, which we were, that certainly changed the way I'm presenting it this evening. So normally it has to do with when folks pay their tax receipts. Right. We all know we have the December and the April slip we have to pay. Some folks wait until June to pay that. Therefore, they don't post until July. So that might be one of the reasons. Yeah. I will say that the delayed and delinquent tax receipts that we've realized in the actuals for 25-26 are less than the prior year actuals. But like I mentioned, it kind of fluctuates. That's why we don't build them in the budget.
Yeah, I understand that. I was just wondering if possibly there was a change in their procedures that might have, because we haven't gotten them that late before, so I just wondered.
It's a good question. Anything else from other members of the board? Okay. No direction to give, so we will move on from this item. Thank you, Assistant Superintendent Jorn. Item B, Trustee Wax, would you like a break? No, okay. We will move item to item B, review of district enrollment for first day of school and overall projections for 2026-27. Back to you, Assistant Superintendent Jorn.
Thank you very much. We've got a single slide kind of summarizing what's in the board packet up on the screen. This is our district enrollment as of the first day of school. When we talk about this, we normally talk about active enrollment versus projected enrollment. I just want to be clear, active enrollment is the number of students that have fully completed the registration process through Parent View and are in Synergy on the first day of school. Actually 1655 turned into 1657. So we actually had 2 more students fully registered by the start of school. But I want to mention that the 1689 projected total, those are students that have families that have begun the process of registration. They might be late start. They might be, we call it a transient population, the military families that move in. So our projections are 1689, but we're at 1657 on the start of school. There down at the bottom, you can see that we've been, kind of steadily in the single digit 5 to 6% decline in enrollment. And this is just our enrollment, not our P2, P1 and P2 ADA. So my note there is actually incorrect. It's enrollment, not ADA. ADA is always less than actively enrolled. And that's, for those that are not familiar, those are the number of students that attend school on a regular basis without missing school, right? That's kind of the generalized way to put it. So you can see here for our elementary schools, they're in the center. Forest Grove, 16 classes, 311 students, average class size of 18.6. Robert Down, 18 classes, 402 students, average class size of 22.3. On the right-hand side, secondary schools, the middle school, 389, the high school, 546, and PG Community High, 7. And in the board packet, you can see like a real detailed breakdown that starts on page 249 in the packet that really shows each grade level and how it breaks down at each school site. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation and the summary. We'll first go out to public comment on this agenda item. Would anyone in the room or online like to make a comment? Thank you, Director Algaze. And then back to the board for any discussion on first day of school enrollment. Okay, seeing none, thank you for the information, Assistant Superintendent Jorn, and hopefully we'll continue to see new families joining us as the school year it's on. The next item on our information agenda is the quarterly facilities update, projects update from Director of Maintenance and Operations, John Anderson.
Good evening, board. It's kind of fun to be back up here again after all the excitement we've had over the summer. Next slide. Okay, so I'll first start with our work orders. We got 199 work orders over the last 3 months of the quarter. Normally we see quite a bit less than that over the summer. The work orders kind of came nonstop. We're currently sitting at 205 open work orders, kind of a record. So we're really excited about getting our projects tightened up and being able to address those soon. And I have a little breakdown here of where those work orders are found. Why 104 work orders at Robert Down over the last several months. That's where the ELOP program was and all of our summer activities. So that was the hub of activity. So in a sense, Robert Down never shut down over the summer. Next slide. So of course, little more field trips this summer, providing transportation for summer school and ELOP. So 36 field trips over the summer, which was kind of nice that the drivers still had plenty to do. We kind of closed off the last quarter, which is 58 riders, which we're really trying to get a program out there and get out the message that we do provide home to school and school to home transportation. Melissa came up with a couple of banners. You probably saw those hung around there trying to spark interest in riding the buses again. So there we go with that. And operations. Normally during the summer, we don't see a lot of activity as far as Facilitron reservations. We did have 19 reservations over the summer. One of those being, of course, the WAVE program, other district summer activities, and the city recreation activities. So just not slowing down much in the summer session these times. It's a little more going on. And now we're going to talk about projects now, taking a little shifting gears here. A lot happened at the high school this summer. So if you saw our parking lots, and we've already heard about the speed bumps, and we used to call the other little plastic speed bumps the click clacks because everybody went over them at full speed. Not effective. These speed bumps are very effective. So probably a lot less burnouts going on in the parking lot, and it just looks beautiful. It just was so overdue, and really nice to be able to see where you're supposed to park, where you're supposed to stop, where crosswalks are. So looking really good there. The robotics department has been looking kind of shabby for years, and we finally found some time and some money to get ourselves in there and do at least half the room for now, with the other half of the room scheduled for the Christmas break. We worked with Robert in the culinary department. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. In the culinary pantry, we put in a tile floor, getting ready to combine our activities with CTE funds, where they're going to buy a walk-in refrigerator. And so that could not be placed on a carpeted floor. So we put a tile floor in there, and it's just gorgeous. Can't wait to get the refrigerator in there for them. Now on to where I worked with Robert to get the concrete lunch area at the high school. That's where the formerly was housed the portable that we took down. So making really good use of that area. That is now where the little electric cart parks. And the cure time is about up on the concrete. So we'll be placing tables there very soon. And then similar to what we saw at Robert Down, we'll have those shade structures over the tables. Going to be a really exciting place for the kids to gather. Newly recycled picnic tables are placed all over the campus right now. And like I said, some of those are going to get moved over to that concrete area. Right at the end of the school year last year, we had an emergency sewer backup in the locker rooms. And we found that when those locker rooms were remodeled, there was a failure to put in a clean out that would get us the ability to clean out the sewer line. So we corrected that over the summer and spotlessly cleaned the locker rooms. So they're beautiful now. And then the rear security fencing, as mentioned, is mostly installed at the high school. Next slide. Pacific Grove Middle School. So we finished off painting the campus. All the buildings there, with the exception of the modular buildings, have been painted. It is beautiful. It is shiny. It is bright. It is no longer peeling and fading. So it's a school you could be proud to go to. So we also replaced the bad stair treads. We actually had some comments on those last year, and they were very difficult to replace. We originally had an estimate of $90,000 to replace them. We purchased the materials ourselves and our own in-house crew over about a 4.5-week period, chiseled the old ones off and put those on. So a ton of labor went into that. And now I understand why it was $90,000. So hats off to Jeff and Rob, who did 99% of that work, and it is really nice. So again, this site got new recycled picnic tables that our team assembled. Thanks again to Robert finding the money for that, my friend. And then the rear security fencing is now installed. And hats off to Sonio for helping us out with getting that out to bid and organized. Okay. Can we actually go back one slide? What I failed to mention is that our landscape crew was busy at work as well. That's you'll see in the bottom right corner. There's some beautiful landscaping that went on out front. We're trying to make things a little more maintenance free and a little kind of pick things up a little bit. There's a bunch of old railroad ties and dead plants in there. So you'll see a couple spots that they addressed over the summer. Our grounds crew's really doing a good job. Okay. All right, Forest Grove Elementary. I'm actually going to ask Dustin to join me now. Yeah. And why don't you go ahead and talk about those items.
Good evening, everyone. Dustin Connor, Program Manager for Sonio. Thanks for inviting me, John, to the to the evening. So I'm here to talk about the summer work that we did for the bond, mainly at Forest Grove and Robert Down. And happy to say that it was a successful summer, short summer. It's 8 weeks to get get all this work done. And we had the fortunate benefit to have good contractors this summer, and they got it all knocked out of the park. So over at Forest Grove, I'm sure most of you've seen what's going on over there. So we tore out the lower level area, the asphalt area, and totally overhauled it. So I got my stick that Lewis keeps in the drawer for me. So from building G all the way out to the front of the building, we installed a new sewer line. So that was the first like big heavy lift to get all that installed. It's like 6 feet deep. We actually made sure that all these sinks and faucets and restrooms and everything flowed, visually saw that water go through before we backfilled everything and installed, started working on the site work. And then the improvements include a new area for picnic tables right out here. Of course, the new amphitheater and then all storm drain system and then asphalt on the first floor. The amphitheater does include a shade structure, which is being constructed right now in Arizona. It arrives in September, and we plan to install it in October during the fall break. In addition to that, we made the parking lot out here code compliant for a fire truck, so now a fire truck can roll up and service the building or the whole campus, and then restriped and did the slurry job on that parking lot to kind of complete the project. And we added a sandbox at the last minute, so we're all in good shape there. Another thing to note is the library. In order to put the new asphalt in, we had to do some plaster work, and so we had to raise up the plaster screeds, put the new asphalt and concrete in, and then redo the plaster. We repainted the library, power washed the roof. And we're going to get a new mural on there. We've been talking to the artist that did the original mural, and she's going to come back and address that. I will be back in September with a full bond update, and we'll talk about what's coming for phase 2 on second level and other scopes for that campus next month. Other items to note. I'll
give back to
okay. So the admin office, they installed new LVP flooring here, and then John's group was able to put out new picnic tables in that area. So we got rid of those old tired picnic tables and popped those in. I think on Monday before school started. So you know how it goes. Next slide. Robert Down, so similar scope over here in the back area. So totally tore out the back west side and redid all the infrastructure in there and the site work. This was a fun project because we found a swimming pool right here, underground water. It was probably good 8 inches deep, that whole length of the back area. So unexpected, didn't think we were going to deal with that. So ended up putting a big drainage system, like a French drain, on the back of this lot. So now all the water coming off the hill will hit this drain. It goes into this storm drain and then out to the city system. And then not in the picture is a sump pump drain from the neighbor that continued to drain down the curb and come into our site. So we put a little DI there to pick up all the water so it's not coming on the site any longer. And then that drains out that way as well. One thing to note on this site that's kind of nice is they put this retaining wall in, which breaks up the asphalt, and then added some trees, which is a pretty good benefit when you go out there and check it out. Next, to note, we actually got to come back and put a world map in here. So the striping wasn't completely done, so that will come in the next couple Saturdays, and then again we have a phase 2 that I'll present next month. And and we put new furnaces in the library. You're up. You want a stick? There you go.
Get the stick, even. So some really exciting stuff happening at Robert Down. This was a pencil sketch of mine on a napkin basically 2 years ago, and to see it become reality is amazing. So this whole design is also to capture all the runoff water to prevent water from going under the building as well, which has probably been going under there for 30, 40 years. So this is a win-win for and everything, because now we have a playground that's playable, nice and level, path of travel, and no water into the building. So great stuff. The HVAC in the library, again, that was another thing that was 2 or 3 years in the making, and to finally see it come to fruition, it just feels so good. So let's talk about the fire alarm system. All this equipment looks really exciting, a bunch of boxes on the wall. But Robert Down was our oldest and most non-operative. I mean, it was working, but it wasn't working. It was, it was off again, on again, false alarms. And now it's there. It's real time and it's up to date and it's code compliant. And that is also just so exciting to have our jewel protected by a new fire system. So we had one carpeted room, one classroom carpeted, and we had the copy room. Also, we had LVP flooring put in there. Both of those, the flooring had become trip hazards. This carpet that you see in the picture is what we're planning to use throughout our school system. It is a really good, high rated, like 30-year carpet with a rubber backing. It's carpet tiles, so if you ruin one tile, you could lift it and replace just the tile as opposed to having to tear out the whole room. That's pretty exciting. And also the C-wing restrooms, the linoleum in there was starting to pucker and all that kind of stuff. So we had that replaced. This photograph is of the flooring before the stalls were installed. The bathroom stalls are being installed now. They were back ordered by about 2 weeks, which, yeah, so that's one of the projects we have in completion phase. Okay, next slide. Pacific Grove Adult School. So we moved the adult transition program out of the trailer in the back of the campus into a main building. And so we remodeled one room to make that. And this is kind of like the direction we'll be going there again. This is the LVP flooring. We had all the walls painted, all new base. I put a couple countertops and kitchen design type stuff in so that the adult kids in transition, which are no longer kids, but we're trying to get them educated and trained in the kind of things they'll do to transition them into adulthood. And so Patty Bloomer there was, give them a little kitchen sense. And so we had to put in a couple countertops and stuff for them to kind of, so why is a kitchen countertop in a classroom? That's why we're getting those students where they need to be. I think that might be my final slide. No. Oh, I'm sorry. David Avenue. So we started David Avenue painting and new gutters last year. And so this year was phase 2 of that. So now all the buildings, with the exception of CHS on the David Avenue campus, are painted, roofed, and have new gutters. And of course, last year we did the major bathroom remodel. So there's path of travel work we'll do there in the future. And I'm sure Dustin will cover that later. Okay. That's it. Any questions, comments? Happy.
Right on. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
We will first go to public comment as we always have to. Would anyone in the room like to comment on this item or online? Please raise your digital hand. How many left do we have online?
Technically 8, that includes us.
I got you. Okay. I'll bring it back then to the board, including our student trustee, for any discussion on the presentation. Trustee Otmar.
This is so great. And it was so cool to see everything that's happened. I was at Robert Down for back to school night, and it was so neat to walk into that area. And it's just to watch all the kids playing out there and having a great time. And the wall, is it like a handball wall? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
They were having so much fun with that. And the basketball hoops are shootable now.
Mhm.
It was just really cool. It was neat to watch the kids playing, and it looks fantastic.
Well,
and I'm glad to hear that there's stalls going in the bathrooms.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate the board approving bringing on Asonio and B&D to accelerate all of this. I was the one standing here a couple of years ago saying, if I have to do this all myself, it's going to take years. And so making that decision to bring them on board and accelerate this and to get more value out of the bond money by getting it spent before it loses its value is just huge. So thank you to the board for that.
Well, thank you. for bringing that to the board because it's beautiful and it's what our district needed and what a lot of the kids needed was to be able to take pride in their school. And sometimes when schools are physically starting to fall apart, it makes a difference. So thank you for all the work and dedication.
Couldn't do it
And
without
everybody.
Asonio, B&D, and my team. The maintenance team has been phenomenal. They need a break.
I bet. Not yet though.
Ross?
Yeah, ditto. I haven't really looked at Robert Down yet, but I went over to Forest Grove and I walked around and it's beautiful. And the amphitheater there is just, it's really remarkable. And it makes such a big difference. I mean, it's like the kids will be, very excited. Well, I'm sure they are excited, but everything looks really nice. And I really congratulate you, John, on all the work you do besides the bond work, because I know you don't have a huge crew, but the crew you have is really dedicated and they just give their all. I see it. I see them working. And so congratulations to them as well. That we can be really proud of the small dedicated crew we have and your leadership. Thank you. And Sunio, it's a joy to have a partnership with someone that's local and who gets us, that's a big thing. So we look forward to all the new things that are coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said, both of you. I'll add just that not only are the campuses looking more beautiful, but I heard you say a couple times compliant, and safety comes to mind for me when I'm looking at a lot of those things, just as far as accessibility and being able to further utilize the campuses, because we have such beautiful places. So even things as small, I mean, as big as the asphalt, but as, kind of basic, like that's a game changer, which you've heard from both of them. And it's also great to see our bond dollars really working hard. So thank you both for like what you've given and totally accelerated timeline, but it's just so magical to come back from 8 weeks of not being on campus and then to see so much that has happened. It's like, it brings a new joy and a new energy to the day. So appreciate it and really looking forward to continuing and having more. So thank you.
And speaking of compliance, it really helps with Keenan, our insurance. When I first arrived here, the Keenan report was like 165 pages. The last Keenan report was 15 pages. So we're correcting a ton. I just walked with the fire marshal this summer, and the huge binder I had of all of our issues is now a thin little like 9-page binder. So all the work that staff does and all these corrections that we're making are just, they're huge. And it's all for the safety of our staff and our children. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Okay.
Real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Wax.
No,
Thank
no,
you
no.
for interrupting me.
No, I mostly only have dittos because what everyone said was right. But in addition to Sonio being local, I know Dustin's like a Forest Grove family too. So it is really just nice to be able to see these tangible things. Um, I mean, it's cool to have like a direct impact. It's brings home how small and close of a community we are and are able to be. And I guess this is the most campus renovation that I've seen, since I've been on the board or a parent, I think. I'm trying to think of it. So it makes me really excited about all of the bond things that we have down the pipeline and appreciate everyone's work, of course.
You, Trustee Wax. Student Trustee Bishop.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, thank you. I feel like I don't know, returning to school this year and especially like seeing the parking lot. I mean, I know like all the speed bump jokes and everything, but I feel like it really does make a difference with the new like pavement and everything, which is kind of funny. But the senior lot, I feel like it makes it a lot more I've noticed at least like people like hanging out in it more and kind of just like, I don't know, makes it nicer to be in and be around. And I've noticed people kind of lingering around more. And I really do think it's just because it's a nicer place to be in, you know, compared to how it was before it was like repaved and everything. And I'm excited to see how the Little Breaker Cafe area turns out as the stools and everything come up. And I'm jealous that there wasn't an amphitheater at Forest Grove when I was there. That sounds super cool. So yeah, thank you for you and your team's hard work this summer.
Welcome.
Very well said. Thank you for sharing, Trustee Bishop. On that note, I think direction is just keep doing the work and we look forward to hearing more about it and keep going. Thank you both.
See you
And thank
next
you for
quarter.
being here this evening.
Thank you.
With that, future agenda items is the last remaining item on our agenda. The future agenda items are listed in our packet. Before I come to the board and ask for any additional items, I will go out to the public and see if they have any comments or future agenda items to request this evening. And I will wait a couple seconds. Okay, and then seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Any discussion on future agenda items from members of the board? Clerk Schmoss.
Just a question about the facility use agreement contracts. So we're waiting to discuss that in our policy before we bring it forward.
That's on the list for discussion next Tuesday. Absolutely. Yep. And then you'll see, just the notes we try to put on, each of those, the discussion regarding the town hall. I wanted to put that on there just to show the note that we've already had that, and then that'll disappear, at the next meeting. But I just like to have that on for a few months before we remove it.
I guess it wouldn't be an agenda item, and maybe I missed this. I actually lost the agenda right now, but are there going to be other, I know this isn't really an agenda thing, but are there going to be other events leading up to the election for candidates and that sort of thing?
Dr. Adamson?
Yeah, if you'll recall, that's a great question, Trustee Wax. I think when you ran and Trustee Shamas as well, we had just an informational session with all of the candidates, where it was myself and members of our cabinet who presented a little bit on all of the various departments, the work that we're doing, and that was also a nice overview of just our LCAP and current goals and the focus for the coming year. So there was that component, and I think embedded into that will be a continuation of just some of the expectations as a board member. So that's the intention, to have that in probably September, early October. And I'm open to other ideas from the board, and particularly from both of you, having you're our newest members and what it was like coming in brand new, returning after several years. If there's anything else you think you'd like for us to do, we're open to that.
Trustee Wax? No.
No, just a repeat of that session would be good.
Okay, thank you for that.
And I did see also that you sent out to prospective board members that there's going to be a training at Monterey County Office of Education for those who are interested in serving, I think put on by the attorneys Lozano Smith. So that's a good opportunity out in the community to learn the role and responsibilities if people are interested. Okay. If that concludes our discussion of future agenda items, I will adjourn us. Our next special board meeting is August 27th.
Well, we're going to go back into closed session.
Adjourn us to closed session. Thank you. Wow, that was really fast. Okay, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to adjourn us to closed session and then report out when we return. And I hope you all have a good evening. Thank you. We are reconvening in open session to report out action taken in our second portion of closed session with regard to item B, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, leave, complaint. Information was received. And now I can officially adjourn the meeting. Our next special board meeting is August 27th, and our next regular board meeting is September 10, 2026. It is 8:59.